What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Daily Nonsense. Today, we are at the National talking about the Panini Silver Packs and some trade nights that you can go to while you're at the show this week. Yes, the National is today, but that does not mean I'm not going to give you a tip for the show. If you were trying to sell your cards, make sure you are bringing those multicolored dot stickers. Put some prices on there, but come up with a color coordination that can determine whether you are willing to make a deal or you're really firm on a price. There's a bunch of different ways to do it, but that's how I've done it in the past. So normally when I'm doing the show, I have my whole setup at my computer, but as you can see, we are at the National. We are literally sitting in front of the front booth. It's still early. People are still setting up, so the show has not started yet, depending on when you're watching this, or maybe it has started when you're watching this. But the stuff we're going to talk about today, like I said, is going to be the silver packs and some trade night information that I think is going to be important for a lot of people. So I'm going to be looking at my phone also because that's where I have my notes. Usually I just have it on my computer and it's a little bit easier, but I'm going to be looking down at my phone. So for the silver packs, which was something that I had seen some people saying that they weren't sure when they were going to announce it. They announced it like in the past day or so. Some of the things that I thought were interesting were that the checklist included Paige Beckers, included Shedeur Sanders, Ashton Genty, had a few of the big-name rookies in the NFL. One of the big names that was not on that checklist actually was Cooper Flagg. So I was looking at the checklist on Panini's website. One of the things that was kind of interesting, if I'm going to be honest, was that the checklist on the website was actually just an image. It wasn't like a checklist where you can really copy and paste anything. And when you zoom in on the image, it's really hard to see, honestly, the names on the checklist. So if you saw me looking at my computer super close, well, if you were at the National, I was recording some content earlier in the morning on Tuesday. You probably saw me squinting, looking at my computer. That was me looking at the checklist for the National packs or for the silver packs for Panini. So some of the boxes that you can buy to get these silver packs, you can buy 2024 Donruss football, 2025 USA Stars and Stripes, which is baseball, 2024 Prism Fast Break, 2024 Prism Draft Picks, 2023 Mosaic Basketball, 2024 Phoenix Mega Box, 2024 Absolute Countdown Calendar, the 2024 Hobby China Edition, 2024 Choice Prism Choice EPL, and then there was a Donruss international box that also qualify for these silver packs. And like I said, the interesting thing was that Cooper Flagg is not on the checklist. And when I was looking at the rookies that were on the checklist, it looked like potentially they were using last year's draft class because Zach Edey was on that checklist. So I don't know if that is Panini just preparing to not have the license or what exactly that is, because that's one of the things about these silver packs that's pretty cool is you can get rookies, and they're going to be some of the first rookies in their pro uniform. So for the NFL, that's what you're going to find. But in years past, they've done stuff like Zion had one, John Morant from that draft class. They all had cards in these packs, and it was some of their first packed rookie cards in their new uniform. So that was one of the things I thought was interesting. And so no Cooper Flagg. They potentially are using last year's rookie class on this checklist. I like I said, I'm not even 100% sure where, like, what players are on there. Like, 'cause I was looking in, Zach Edey was the only name that I really recognized. Like, there was no Jaron McCain. He was a player I was surprised if they're going to use last year's draft class. He was a player I would expect them to use, but he wasn't on that checklist either. So, but maybe they'll do some updating. Maybe they didn't do the checklist correctly and they're going to be updating it. But the other story we've got is going to be, well, not really a story, but it's just updates on trade night. So there's going to be some big, the big ones, the Card Collector 2 and the Road Show. That's also, they partnered with PSA. So that one is going to be Thursday night, and the Collector's Lounge. I think the cool thing that the National has done over the past few years is they've really leaned into some of these trade nights. And honestly, the trade nights are somewhat better places that you can get deals. And honestly, sometimes it's even better than the show because, granted, maybe people have had a few drinks, they're more willing to negotiate on some of these cards while you're here. Where at the show, it's all business. They're not trying to make any deals. They're trying to make sure they're getting the most value for the cards that they're bringing. Then there is another Thursday trade night with Bullpen HQ, Card Collector 2. Maybe this was just actually a updated list. So then Friday night, that's where Sports Card Nonsense is actually going to be involved in one of the trade nights. That's with Blaze Sports Cards, PSA as well, Pristine Auctions, and then Women in the Hobby. They're hosting a trade night. Then there also is another one with Slap Stocks. One of my guys at Slap Stocks, Mint Cards, DAP Sports, Wax, GP Sports Cards. It looks like G2 Sports Cards, Replay Sports Cards. So like I said, these are all going to be great opportunities. If you're trying to network, you're trying to meet people, these are going to be great times to go and meet people that are outside the show. Because honestly, like if you're trying to talk to dealers while they're at the show, there's probably a decent shot they may not want to talk to you, if I'm going to be completely honest, because they're trying to make deals. They're trying to get all the sales in to justify coming to this show, because nowadays it is the biggest show of the year. And you're not going to, or you're going to run into some issues where, like, now that it's become so popular, it's actually becoming a lot more expensive for dealers and for people to come to the show, and hotels sell out so quickly, and, you know, flights are not super expensive. Even though Chicago, O'Hare, there's a bunch of different ways to get in. But yeah, trade nights, those are the big things. So that's pretty much all we've got for this Wednesday episode. There's tons of news, actually. This is kind of one of the crazy things, honestly, about this. There's tons of news that you will probably be seeing. I don't know how many more. I don't know if I'm going to be doing any extra videos necessarily, but there are going to be tons of videos, if whether you're on TikTok or you're on Instagram. Either way, just make sure you're looking out for those videos, because just in the past couple days, we've seen some crazy news come out. So that's going to be updated throughout the week. But that's all we've got for this episode. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.